You are never alone on your creative journey. There is a very, very long line of artists, of storytellers, of visionaries, artisans who want to support you and connect to you, and that this is your birthright. So in this video, we're going to talk about connecting to these lineage keepers of craft, and also of connecting to the artists and the creatives within our own ancestral bloodlines. Welcome. I'm Sandler. I'm an herbalist, a creative, and a wild woman, and welcome to day 13! I think it's so fitting that on day 13 I'm on my bleed and we still got Grandmother Moon here to light, to celebrate. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is the 13th day of a 19-day devotional creative journey I'm on. And you're welcome to join as well, just showing up to your creative practice, maybe deepening into a craft as I am with video making for 19 days. And yeah, just like communing with your creativity. Today I want to talk about this unseen, community, this web of support that we are all intrinsically connected to as artists. And then when we actually go even beyond these lineages of creatives, of visionaries, of dreamers that we are connected to, we can also connect to the ancestral lineage of blood, of bone, and those ancestors that have also been artists or black sheeps or those with visions that maybe didn't come to fruition, or maybe they did, and how we, as their descendants, who are potentially fulfilling the creative dreams of our lineage, and how that is such an important part of our path as an artist to understand, to honor. And yeah, let's talk about that today. I think as North Americans, we have a very interesting cultural experience around not necessarily knowing the lands, the traditions, the culture of our ancestors and how they lived for hundreds, thousands of years before they came to North America. All of us have ancestral power that is these gifts, this medicine of our lines that we are meant to embody as the living being of our lineage. I think as the artist, we play a very significant role in our lineage because we are here, to create, to bring through art. And in that way, we embody many of the gifts, the gold of our bloodlines. And I think sometimes we can feel a bit almost like self-centered in this archetype of the black sheep or the outcast, or as I described in my last video, feeling like we're the crazy one and the one that doesn't belong either in our family or in our local community. And the truth is yes, we might feel like no one understands us or that we are very unique in our art and in our expression. But I feel the truth is that I rarely hear anyone talk about is that you are actually oftentimes expressing these long forgotten or these distant gifts of your bloodline. And just as, we hear like different names, like my name is Sandler, which is actually my dad's mother line's last name, or the Sandlers. They were the cobblers, they were the sandal makers, right? Well, I feel like there are also these artistic gifts that perhaps, we weren't named for, but are still alive. They're like a song that sings in your bones and is waiting for you to hear it. Like it's waiting for you to remember these gifts and also to bring alive these dreams of the line. That maybe the time in history that your ancestor lived in, it wasn't safe for these dreams to fully come to fruition, or they didn't have the opportunity. Because when we look at the opportunities that we're given in this lifetime in, the 2020s, we're so privileged, especially in North America. Like we have the internet, we have the ability to do many of the things our ancestors couldn't without potentially being like tortured or killed, you know, especially like as me as an herbalist, as a witch. Like, this is an identity that would have had to be completely hidden in many other times in history. So just acknowledging that we live in a time of incredible potential for us to live out the creative dreams, the songs, the visions of our lineage and beyond. And that even if you feel like perhaps, oh, this is like part of my soul memory, this is part of my soul gifts, this, you know, this artistic expression is mine and mine only. I do feel that we have these perhaps like soul contracts with all of our ancestral bloodlines, and we choose to incarnate into these lineages specifically, either because they resonate with these soul gifts we have from other lifetimes, and so we're embodying it through our bodies, through our ancestral lineage, or because we bring these gifts so that we can heal and reclaim power within the lineage. And so if you're still watching, I am so glad that we're speaking the same language, because I'm sure a lot of people have clicked off and have no idea what I'm even talking about. So now let's get into a bit of the juicier part of like, how do we actually connect in with these ancestors? And that is recognizing that simply by being, you know, a candle maker, a painter, a musician, a writer, a dancer, whatever you are part of a line throughout time of all others who practice this craft, right? It doesn't matter what you do, even if, like me, you know, you're a video maker, a YouTuber. There are the entertainers, the performers, the visionaries. Like, there are so many lineages that simply by holding the role of a certain craft you belong to. So just let that sink in, that there are hundreds, thousands of fellow artists in spirit who understand you. And so when you recognize that, you realize that we are never alone on this journey, and that we can call upon these lineage keepers of our craft, as well as the ancestors within our line who hold the gifts of our craft. We can call upon these lineage keepers of blood and beyond to assist us in our creative journey. And that can look differently depending on what feels good for you, what feels accessible, and also dependent like on your craft. And so personally for me, what I like to do is I call upon these lineage keepers whenever I create a video. Like, I say a prayer before every video, and I also say a prayer before I publish every video. And I'm calling on, asking for their support, thanking them. And if you haven't seen, you know, my other videos about how to communicate with plants, how to communicate with trees, communicating with spirits means reciprocity. Everything in this reality is reciprocal. And I think something that we forget because we were raised, you know, in these consumerist, capitalist societies that don't actually acknowledge spirit. You can also check out my video on animistic prayer. Like, we have a bit of like an extractive mind frame when it comes to connecting to spirits, when in reality, a way to cultivate deep relationship and actually feel the support of your allies in spirit is to build a reciprocal connection. And that means giving offerings, saying prayers of thanks. Perhaps ritual might mean creating an altar either in your home or in nature that honors these lineage keepers or these ancestors. So there's so much. I'm not even going to scratch the surface here of ancestral work, because there is so much we can do to reclaim our connection and the power within our ancestral bloodline. But you can start by simply doing that physical genealogy work and actually finding out their names, finding out more about their lives, their stories, and also the lands they came from, and perhaps starting to listen to those songs, eat those foods, like remember the culture of your bloodline. But today, what I really want to focus on in this video is connecting more to these lineage keepers of your artistry. Make sure you're clearly connecting. And once you've established those practices, then calling upon these lineage keepers, and you can ask them either, questions, like things that are frustrating you, things that in your craft, like you wish you had a mentor or someone to connect to about. You could ask them about that. They could help you become unblocked in something, or they could help you in creating an idea, or they could help you in finalizing a project. Like, they are kind of like these mentors through time that can assist us. I feel for me, what I love to do is to call them in to my creative practice, to ask them to work with me while I am doing my craft. And when you do that, there's a sense, I'm getting chills, like you're not alone, in the most beautiful, not spooky way, I promise, okay? It's not like you're gonna have ghosts all around you all the time. What it feels like instead is that you are a part of a creative community that spans throughout time, and that is so much wiser and has such a wealth of creative inspiration, of wisdom, of support for you to connect to. I think that's all I want to share today. It feels like there's something missing. So I'm like, what else is it, ancestors? I feel like what they want us to remember is that it's actually so much more natural and simple than we might think to connect to these lineage keepers, and also to connect to the ancestors. That this was a natural part of being alive for hundreds of years, and that we have forgotten, because a lot of us have been separated either from our bloodlines, from our lines, from our ancestors, or we have been separated from how to connect to spirit. And it's funny they're saying this, because I felt such a resistance to sharing this video, because I felt like, oh, there's just so much like foundational wisdom and knowledge for people to understand, to actually clearly connect with their ancestors in like a safe way. But yeah, they just want me to remind you that it's actually like, don't overcomplicate things, and that what comes through intuitively, most naturally for you, is what is right for you. And that the ancestors and the lineage keepers express through art. Like, this is their natural form of expression as well. Dance, song, drum, even like, theatrical kind of like skits around the fire, storytelling. And that's what all art really is, right? Is storytelling. And so calling upon those storytellers is a big one. The storytellers. I'm getting chills. I'm getting the chills. Okay, so yeah. The storytellers. They want you to connect to them in whatever way that might be, and just begin to call upon them, to feel them, to thank them, to just tap in to the power that they hold, their wisdom, their love, their support. And I guess what they're saying is intuitively you will know how to go from there. So let me know in the comments, have you connected to the lineage keepers of your craft before, or your ancestors who hold the gifts of your lineage? And yeah, share your stories in the comments. I love to hear. Okay, well, thanks for making it to the end. This video has a very different frequency than all the others I've filmed in so far in these 19 days challenge, so I'm intrigued to hear who resonates. And until tomorrow, I hope you have a day that feels like you are connected into something much bigger than yourself. A day where you feel the connection and the support from beyond. Okay, many blessings.